Hmm. Oh yeah, is it on? That's weird. Okay, man. They changed. I wonder if they changed. Um, they change. It is working. Okay. No, they changed my platform. I guess OBS changes stuff all the time. So, because they just had an update today. Anyways, so yeah. Good morning. I don't know if anybody there, but anyways, a little late. Last night went out. Well, not went out. Not last night. Went out for yesterday. Went out after school with the classmates, and they would did some karaoke and stuff. It was gonna. We went to. Oh man, we went out to eat at a friend's place, so that was good. And then they do karaoke and stuff. I'm not a huge karaoke fan, but I guess I had to do a little bit of it. Got caught doing it. It was so hot though. It was so hot. And it's 40 degrees up in Osaka right now. Right now it's not too bad. And it's temperature. Got my little I just pointed outside. Yeah, it's all right. It's 85, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then the city will be cooking. Will be really cooking. So yeah, just look see what we got. I didn't do too much. It's mostly pictures and some videos, but get the idea. The gang just do some crazy stuff. It was fun. I'm not listening to you guys singing. I'm not doing that. Anyways, um, it was fun. We had a good time. But it's kind of neat to see to go from being a fish farmer to doing this, right? You raise fish for a living, you live on the farm for many years, and yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. The whole different world. You meet all kinds of people from all over the world, living from Korea, South Korea to China, Taiwan, Philippines. God, we got some guy from Turkey, Spain, Brazil, Argentina, America, a few, and then yeah, Vietnam. I mean, you name it, you name it. Uh, so all of us are doing this stuff and trying to figure out what we want to do with our lives. So this was Philippine food, if I remember correct. So some chickens and different kinds of, I don't know the names, couldn't tell you the name of the stuff, but it was good. I mean, it was carb loaded, if you like carbs, pastas and rice and potatoes, and then, some meat in there and some veggies in there, noodles, that kind of stuff. So it was kind of interesting. I mean, it's good, right? It's good, but you get to see everybody, and then they're singing, whatever they're doing their thing. So it's kind of neat, right? And get to bond with everybody, and then they forced me to go singing. So it's another story. There's no sound. Good. Leave it that way. But one day I'll do some editing and stuff and see if I can do something with it. Right. But go from there. A little beer, yeah, something easy. It was like afternoon, so we have a good time doing this kind of stuff. Don't do it every day. Maybe once a week I do stuff with them. Uh, I don't have, I don't have. I got other things I like to do, right? And trying to discover Japan on my own, I think is the best way to to meet people. The Japanese people are going to approach you when you're in a crowd, right? And they're just not going to, right? And so that's something I've noticed, right? That's something I've noticed. So um, so it's better to do some stuff with them because like how do you say? It's nice to have information, right? To see what's going on in the world, and you're not the only one out there. The world's not about yourself. It's about sharing. It's about trying to understand how people work and where they come from, and their reasons for going here. Even though a lot of them have degrees, they just decided that they didn't see an opportunity in their country to do better. So Chinese, Korean, Taiwan, and mid-20s, some 30s, years old and stuff. So uh, I'm a little exception, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Age is just a number, right? Anyways, to me, it's good. You get to really see different aspects of culture. And when they're out there, for example, they'll sing in Chinese. The other guy will sing in and in English, or they'll sing in Korean, and and we'll practice in Japanese, because a lot of them don't speak English, right? So we we do the best we can trying to communicate, and but having fun is a good thing, right? So having fun is a good thing, and it's it's what makes how do you say, the world goes around, right? So it's a good thing. So right now I'm just flicking through videos, and so it's funny. She's Jasmine and stuff. So yeah, so there's the guy. We're getting out of the restaurant, and then yeah, we have a bunch of pictures. I still don't have all the pictures. Everybody shared a bunch of stuff, so we use Line to get around. So everybody, because Line's got it. Well, Line is the way to. So it's the app, right? So it's the way to talk to these people, because what's WhatsApp doesn't work well here. So it works well for me, I guess, to go to talk to people in the US. But here, the big lines is you get Line, you get the Line, whatever, and then you get WeChat. So I guess Line is for Japan and WeChat is for Chinese. So that's what we use to communicate and stuff like that, and that translates pretty good. Not so good, but just a little small text is okay. But we try to talk to each other in Japanese, so that works pretty good. And then we go from there, right? So welcome to Japan. That's the fun part. It's so different than what I'm from. Anyways, the little anecdotes of all this stuff, right? So and I did some singing, but I didn't. They taped me. I didn't tape myself. So it's funny. So there you go. So that's the class for you. I don't have any pictures of the classroom. That's funny. I thought I did. I guess not. So yeah. So and then oh, here we go. There's the classroom. So there you go. So guys in there, the girls in there, blah blah. So we're working on. Oh, that's just a homework list. There's homework for you. Nice and listed. It's all done. Got it all done. So it's a lot of writing, a lot of things like that, right? So I wish it'd be more talking. There's some talking, and half the class is talking. First class is writing stuff down, listening to, rules, and, how do you say this, how do you say vocabulary, right, a bunch of other stuff. But and then, so it's 4 hours, it stays 4 hours, and then you get 2 hours of regular class, little exercise. Excuse me. I need coffee. So anyways, the class, we do that for and 2 hours of like an hour and a half, now 45 minutes of 2 hours of paperwork stuff, exercise, you know, book stuff, right? Book stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good. Some exercises, dictation, visual reading, and then writing, right? So the three is the writing. We do writing exercise, reading, and listening. Second part of the class is basically role play. So we're given situations, you know, and then we have to read, and then we have to, basically role play. So whatever happened during the day, trying to introduce people to others or asking for directions and, you know, ordering food or, whatever the situation, you asking for directions and what bus do I need to take or train or taxi or subway. So a lot of it is the role play. So trying to express yourself, is the way to the second part of the class. So which is okay. You know, it gets difficult because some of the role play, whatever the is, it gets pretty detailed, right? So you have to pay attention to, all the little rules. And so like when you ask for direction and stuff like that, is it going to be on the left, on the right, across the road, behind, so you have to understand like, left, right, and front and back, right? So those are new words in the vocabulary, so if you say in front of you is mae, if you say right, it's migi, left is hidari, behind is ushiro, right? Uh, Underneath is ashita, and on top is ube, right? So when you start adding this in vocabulary, like you have to pay attention, right? So and it's a little different structure, right? So it's not the same. It's literally the reverse of how we think. So uh, mentally exhausting. So the first half, after an hour and a half, and the first time, an hour and 20 minutes, I get like brain like, okay, enough. And then, so I tried to do, yeah, tried to hang in there, and then I get a little snack, get some water or whatever, and then we do this next session of talking, which helps a lot. I don't know if I could do 2 hours, no, 4 hours of just writing and sitting there and talking and doing whatever exercise. You learn a lot, but it's a cram school, bottom line. So they're trying to prepare you from the tests. And again, the more I talk to people that do the test and are living there, they say they're not working hard enough on the conversation. Oh man, hold with me. Sorry. Anyways, so we need to work on conversation, right? So that's the big thing. So conversation is looking for a job. Looking for a job is not easy. I've been looking, I've been applying, and it's very hard because you need the certification, right? You need the language certification. When you don't have it, yeah, they'll hire you, but it's harder to find, right? It's really harder to find jobs, right? Yeah, so I might have to, bite the bullet and just say, forget it. I'll just get a job that's going to be, you know, restaurant jobs or something like cleaning tables or taking care of old people or something like that, like walking people and stuff. So I was hoping to find something in English, but that's not happening. So tutoring or English is, they say it's easy to get. And then I talk to friends that says it takes 6 months to get a job in a little higher field, 4 to 6 months. So, and it's who you know, right? Filling up these applications online and doing all this stuff is literally a waste of time because even though the government will say, hey, look, well, yeah, we need people, but the problem with the jobs is that I think the companies are, yeah, they're looking for workers, but they still decide who they want to hire, and they do want to hire someone that speaks Japanese, even though the job needs English. They want to be able to talk to. So I've had like what 6, 7 interviews. Every single one that says, we're looking for people that don't speak English is okay. Yeah, no Japanese is fine. We'll you know apply. So, but when you apply, the first question is, do you speak Japanese? And it's in Japanese. Right? They don't speak English. And the minute you say, well, they say, okay, thanks, but we're looking for someone who speaks Japanese. So you're, bye, next. So it's very misleading. I think the pressure is basically, we want to hire people, but you have to go in at the bottom, right? Yeah, if you don't speak Japanese, or if you don't have the certifications, what they're looking for, then right, get it, right? So you're doing the best you can, what you got. I'll have to figure out the chat. I don't even know if the chat's running, but we'll look it over live. I don't think there's anybody on there. Manage videos. I just want to see how long I've been streaming anyways, and if the thing yeah. Oh, where's the live stuff? There we go. I don't think there's anybody on there. Yeah, no, nobody's on, so it's no big deal. So yeah, so I'm doing my stuff, and then go from there, and I'll figure out when. Yeah, like I'll keep posted on the jobs and stuff. I'm not giving up and stuff, and the first 2 months was hard though. First 3 months, living in Airbnbs and getting school and trying to figure out where to live, how to live, where to shop, how to pay the bills. The bills it's weird. They come in the mail and little peel off things, and you open them up, and then yeah, I try to do the online stuff. It doesn't work really well. They don't get bills paid online, a few, but it's pretty much go to Conveni. You bring in your little slip, you Conveni scan it, you pay them, and that's it. So yeah, the convenience is a big thing for paying bills, right? They do pretty much everything in there. So, 7-Elevens yeah, but then again, the 7-Elevens don't get, if I remember 7-Eleven, they don't, I don't pay propane there, or yeah, I don't pay some utilities, something like that. And then, so some conveniences take everything, some others don't. So you have to pick your battles. So yeah, the bank stuff is weird. I have a bank card. I don't really understand why I need it. I know I need it for a job, I guess, but uh, it's kind of a weird thing. You put money in there from, let's say you first you have to get American money, then you have to transfer it, right? So when you go to the cash machine, so you get money out of your house, your bank, in the U.S. or whatever, and then they take a cut, right? They take a cut, and then the bank takes a cut because they take an exchange rate cut, right? So you get charged that. Adds up quick. It adds up quick. And then you take that money and then you deposit it in the bank, right? So it's in yen, right? So you go from American money to yen, and then you take that money in yen and you put it on the bank card, and they still charge you money to use the card. So it's kind of like, okay, so why am I using the bank? Why am I using the bank card? So not use it. So the bank card, I guess, is just good for when how do you call it? The job pays you in yen, right? But to put money in there, I mean, it's kind of like you're shaving the top of your cash every minute, right? It's like, may not look like it a little bit, but at the end of the month, you're like, oh my God, I paid hundreds of dollars on friggin' exchange fees and shit like that. Whew. So I use, just a note, I use Amazon. I use the Amazon credit card. That works really well because it doesn't have a lot of fees, right? So you pay the card and you use it for everything, right? You can't take money out. Maybe you can if I put money on the card, but you can't you can't take cash out. But if you use it to buy anything, there's no fees at the other end, right? So it's really good. But my bank card, when I buy stuff with it, there's fees. like my debit card or my credit card from the bank. But if I use the Amazon credit card, no problem, get no fees, right? So that's what I use. I buy everything with Amazon. Anyways, so that's the fun part. So it is what it is. Um, this is always practice. I'm not sure how to come up with ideas for this how do you call it, stream. Right now I'm gonna, what time is it? It's 7:30. So I'm gonna just get myself a coffee, get myself some food, and then yeah, like if I go back here and I think if I go to the photos and if I go to the album and go to, yeah, so just so you guys know, a lot of basketball stuff here, but I got a lot of basketball in here, a lot of basketball. So that's something else I could do, and there's my kids, basketball, and stuff like that. And then, but so the fish stuff, right? So I got a lot of fish stuff. So just to get an idea, so I'll have to go to the bottom, go back to reverse. So basically, I had a fish farm for 30 something years, 30 years, and then fish farming for 36 years. So this is when I'm dismantling it, so we had hurricanes and I uh, I kind of like shut down the place. I got tired of doing this. Didn't have anybody wanted to take it over, and it was just a lot of work, right? And I just like, this is all dismantling stuff, right? So it's a lot of, I'm just trying to, I'll have to see if I have other pictures, but you get an idea of, facility and stuff like that. I got some nicer stuff online and stuff, but I had hundreds and hundreds of tanks. The hurricane was rough, right? So I had many hurricanes, but this one was just one of those. It was just like too much damage, and I didn't feel like fixing it all the time, from the trees coming down to the greenhouse being dismantled. All the plumbing was gone, and I'm sitting there like, why? Why do I want to keep doing this? You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, the place is beautiful and stuff, but when you can't find the workers and the help and stuff, and you just, the sales are okay, you're doing okay, but you just like, your motivation is not there anymore, right? You're not motivated to do this anymore, and you want to do something else. So the hurricane made it really hard, right? So uh, and then I just didn't want to spend any more money trying to fix something, and then the next year something else happens, and you know it's amazing the amount of stuff that I've accumulated, right? So these were the greenhouses and stuff. So if I, this was after a hurricane, so a lot of the plumbing was gone and the shade cloth ripped up and things like that. But anyways, if you guys know anything about fish farming or fish or aquaculture, agriculture is the same, right? You're at the mercy of the elements, right? So you do the best you can with what you got, and then after a while, you're like, you're sitting there like, man, I did all this work, and I don't know if I want to do this anymore, right? So I ended up draining the tanks, got rid of the fish. I had a lot of fish. I just gave it away. I mean, I sold a little bit, probably 5%. The rest, I was too many breeders. I just gave it away. Nobody cared, like nobody really wanted the stuff. And so, that was hard. It was a decision that took me a good 6 months to a year to come to term with, because a lot of work I did was, I like to breed stuff. I like to try new things and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, everything I did was my own. No other breeder wanted to do what I was doing. Couldn't find anybody who wanted to do this stuff. My kids weren't interested in it, right? So you're sitting there, trying to do all this stuff, and you add things and you fix things, and you breed all this new stuff, and the market's okay, and then you spend a lot of time trying to how do you call it, market it, right? And then so you get my coffee here. So make myself a coffee. So it's hard to explain, like when you have so much stuff you're doing, and then at one point you wake up and you don't even know who you are. You just find yourself, all I'm doing is working, right? Cleaning, fixing, scrubbing, pulling eggs, talking to customers online, good and bad, right? Working on the website and taking pictures and all this kind of stuff. And you're sitting there like, what I've noticed is nobody cared, right? It was hard to get money. It was hard to get pouring coffee that way. One day I'll buy an espresso machine. I'm not ready for that. Um, so it was hard to find, how do you say, a balance, because it's hard to find workers, and then it's hard work. Right? You're outside. There's no air conditioning. Your buildings are hot. It's wet. There's mosquitoes, and there's a high turnover. Right? You get people, and then they're gone, and then you get people, and they're gone, and you spend your time teaching, and then they're gone. Right? You spend your time training them, and they're gone, and then you're sitting there like, what am I doing? Right? You know? Yeah, I'm not a corporate, right? It'd be nice if I was a corporate world, and I'd have managers, and they have different tasks, but my sales were different every year, right? Some items would sell well 1 year at a time. It sucked, right? They weren't selling. And so you're breeding all this stuff. You're like, well, okay, got to breed something else, right? This was popular for a while, and it's popular for another way. And it was just one of those things where I just got tired of it. I got tired of the whole thing, right? And there's a lot of things I've accumulated the stuff, and all the stuff is full of fish, right? And filters, and you know, sunsets were beautiful. Every day you're on the farm, it's gorgeous in the morning, it's gorgeous at night, and but the reward wasn't there, right? It's not just the financial reward; it's basically the reward of being able to say, hey, this is good today. I took care of myself and did all that stuff. But at the end of the day, he says, I took care of a farm, I took care of the yard, I took care of the fish, took care of the building, took care of the house, took care of the kids, took care of the kitchen, took care of the cooking, you take care of everything except what you want to do. Bottom line is, I still don't know what I want to do. I have ideas, but fish farming was done, right? Like this is after a hurricane, and there's tree branches everywhere. Stuff's ripped off. You got to fix the roof, and there's branches everywhere. So you're sitting there doing chainsaw for fucking 3 days, right? And then you lift all this stuff up and put it in the forest, or get a dumpster and fill it up. And it's just physical labor, right? Just all the goddamn time. And people don't care if the branch is there or not. You're just sitting there. It's in the way. I can't get my truck through here, or I can't cut the grass, or like it's just sitting there, like and there's so much of it, right? You're sitting there, and there's just so much of it, and you're like, this is just work. I'm just created a mountain of work, right? Yeah, I make a living. It's fun, but I can't go anywhere. I got 10,000 fish swimming around, and I got to worry about electricity. I got to worry about the water. I got to worry about the heat. I got to worry about friggin' fire ants, whatever aspects. And it became overwhelming, and I hated it. Like in the last, I'd say 5 years, I couldn't stand it. I didn't care. Fish died. I didn't care if customers were pissed off at me. I was just wanted out, but I still had the kids around. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Traveling was one of them, and maybe possibly do another business, but it wasn't part of the plan, right? I don't want any more work. I want to downsize, and I still find I get too much stuff, right? I'm down to a little apartment with a bed, a couple of desks, some computer screens, a couple of little things, and I still get too much stuff. I don't have any tools, right? I got a couple of tools. I think I got a little toolbox or something, like that's my toolbox. I don't even have pliers yet. right? So I had a workshop from chainsaws, generators, skill saw, drill presses, table saws, uh, tons of, what do you call it, power tools like cordless. And this is what I got left. There's a little toolbox of little screwdrivers, little tweezers, little things to, just fix the thing on the house, that it's coffee pot or your cameras or whatever, you get little things. But I don't have anything, and I still think I have too much, right? So this is the property, right? And then you just have to fix stuff, and I had to fix fences and stuff like that, and this is after I dismantle everything, and I'm still picking up the pipes and things like that, and it's just like it was like therapy, right? You're sitting there like everything I've done, everything I've built just had to go, right? And so and then we haven't even, this is the beginning, right? We're just doing that because I had to clean up everything, refix the roof and buildings and clean up the property. And so I went through like 4 dumpsters of stuff just for the business, you know? Nobody wanted the racks. Nobody wanted the tanks. I threw away 80% of the tanks. Nobody wanted the tanks, and then I'd have to give them away and stuff like that. So I spent a lot of money throwing stuff out because dumpsters aren't cheap, right? So it's one of those things where you're out there cleaning and it's like PVC pipe, nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted the plumbing, nobody. So it's amazing the amount of stuff I threw away. So when I look at like trying to find you a dumpster, just so you get an idea, I had 4. So yeah, I had guys come over and I had a lot of busted tanks, a lot of busted tanks that drilled all the tanks, a lot of them busted. So, but I had to give away some of them or throw them away. I had a lot of glass, so that accumulated over the year, and it was all cut to make tanks, and I just threw away a lot of it because nobody wanted it. And even if I marketplace and stuff, and it's just like, nope, we're done. Nobody wanted it, so I had to go. Some tubs went, but the most of the stuff that was tanks and big tanks went to bait stores. And you and I know bait stores don't make that much money, and a lot of them were damaged from hurricanes, so they were glad to pick up tanks. They came over and I mean, I was getting away these tanks for $50 or $20, big 200-gallon fiberglass tanks for 20, 30, 40, $50, depending on the thing. Even though they were costing, if I wanted to buy a new one, it'd be $1,000, right? Delivered and all that. So there is just no money, it's just stuff you accumulate over the years. So guys come over, pick up tanks, but for a couple of $100, comes over and pick up tanks that he picked, right? Okay, I can use this one. And then so we fill up tanks and clean them up and he hauls them away, right? And so I had guys like that. And so you just accumulate stuff, you get rid of it, and it's just pennies on the dollars. And then you're just slowly emptying everything else. And lots of PVC and then so it was just a process, right? The racks, and this was it, the building, right? That was the greenhouse. Then you have the buildings to worry about. And then I had to fix fence. The fences need to be fixed. I had trees falling on the fence. So I spent probably a couple of $1,000s just on wood and then all the work I did myself. And we have a bunch of videos on that. So the hurricane was a tough one, and lots of fence broken everywhere. So I had to fix all that stuff. The posts are broken and stuff. So, these are racks that dismantled after, and then I got to throw all that wood away. So the curbside trash not working, right? So it's all dumpster. So the building empty. Now they're starting to be empty. So I emptied the buildings. There's a dumpster, so I had to stack them. So I'd get the dumpster for 3 weeks. And then I'd really stack it, right? Not just throw stuff in there. I'd stack everything in there to get it as stuff as I could, right? If I had to fill them up, just throw stuff in, I'd use the double the dumpsters. And I'm not doing that, right? So I took my time filling them up. Most of the work, pretty much myself, like 99% of the work myself. I had a few friends come over and help a little bit, but yeah, so filling up dumpsters was me. So the whole farm was me. I dismantled everything myself. I built everything myself pretty much. and then I dismantle everything myself. So that was a big process before going to Japan, you know. The process was the same, right? You know, and so I dismantled so much stuff, right? So much stuff, and by myself, right? So I'm still thinking about it. I still got splinters in my hand, cuts and things that scars basically from all the stuff that you're dismantling, right? So yeah, those are 75-gallon tanks. I was getting $25 a piece for them. They were drilled. They're still holding water. Yeah, calcium things, but they're too bad. So, you buy a tank like that, it's $400, right? So now, so it was just good to the dumpster coming in and some stuff. I was just filling it up. And so I got 4 of those in 1 year, plus all the loads to the dump too. A lot of stuff I dumped to the dump with the van, smaller loads of stuff I needed to get rid of. And so yeah, 125s. I had a lot of those. I had like a dozen of those. 40s, I think I had like, no, the 75, I think I had like, I remember 30, 31 or something like that. So it was a lot of big tubs. These were 400-gallon tubs, 440s they call them. I just pretty much gave them away. Nobody wanted them pretty much. It's a lot of stuff that, people think that it's great to do all this stuff, but the road to Japan started like way before this, right? I had to make a decision to shut the farm down and then clean it up, right? You can't leave that stuff on the land if you want to try to sell the property. It's got to go, right? Nobody wants this stuff. And the greenhouse is still there. The property looks pretty good, but it's more like, yeah, right. So a lot of these are 220-gallon tanks. The other one was 440s. So you get a good idea, right? So hang on. So I don't even know where I'm going. So yeah, big tanks. This was a nice 150. And so slowly getting rid of all the stuff and lots of tubs, shrimp tubs. Those all tubs I used to roast shrimp and stuff. And uh, this was literally, it took me a year and 3 months from the time I got rid of the fish. So a year and 3 months to clean the whole place up by myself, right? So a year and 3 months to get the place cleaned up, and it's still. I wish I would have stayed another 2 or 3 months to tweak up the rest of the property, but the visa came in, and I had to make a decision. And so the property is okay. It's there, and then so cleaning the going to Japan. That was my first step. Well, one of the steps is to make a decision that I had to go learn Japanese on my own, with online lessons, and then tweaking all the stuff, understanding Japan, why I want to go there, what's the possibilities, and it may or may not work out, right? We don't know. I don't know. I don't. It's not like there's Plan B and Plan C and Plan D. It's just that I barely have a Plan A. The Plan A was to get out of the fish business, right? Is to get out of the fish business. I was burnt out. Didn't want to do this stuff anymore. Um, and there's no good time to stop, right? I was getting depressed. I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy doing this stuff. I didn't care about the animals anymore. Uh, I never really, what's funny is I didn't make that many friends in the business, right? I made some friends, I got Mike at Imperial and Mike Bernard at Imperial and a few others here and there, but very few, because it's such a business where you're by yourself and everybody passes through, but they don't really, you don't build really good connections, right? So I made better connections just doing other stuff, like basketball or, hanging out with other friends with other interests and stuff like that. But I found that the fish business was very isolating, right? You're on the farm a lot. It's fun. Yeah, you can socialize and stuff, but you're not really building deep connections, right? And that was another factor that made it difficult for me to stay. So, you live in Sarasota for 30 something years, and then you have a handful of friends, and that's it, right? And then, barely a handful, right? Like 3, 2, right? So kids are gone, right? Kids left, and then what am I doing here, right? And relationships were difficult. did the best I could with what I could, but my brain wasn't into it, so I can't blame neither side. It's just part of life, and had to figure out what I wanted to do. So it is what it is, right? And so the other thing too is that the farm had to make money, right? It's a big piece of land, and it's not just like renting houses and stuff like that. So it was a big complex thing to get out of it, right? I looked at my options. I was thinking about starting another business, but I'm like, I still got to maintain the place. I still got to pay taxes. I still got to pay electric bill. I still got to fix all this stuff. Hurricane comes up every year, then we have to fix the stuff again, right? So it was an endless battle of working hard, and I just got tired of it. I got tired of all this stuff. It was just a ball and chain, a massive ball and chain where my motivation was shot. So I had to come up with other things. I looked at other countries. I looked at Panama. I looked at Costa Rica. I looked at Portugal because I know a guy that does clown loaches over there, and maybe Portugal would be nice. I can go help him out and downsize my stuff. I was thinking about it. It might still be in the cards. And then other than that, Asia was interesting because I've never been here, right? So it was one of those things where you want to do something completely different. And so I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a challenge. Let's just do it. See what happens, right? So that's where it went. So from raising fish to dismantling everything and get rid of stuff, and had a bunch of tanks in here. I got videos of the place running. I'll have to put that up there. But this is empty building now. This was all racks, and now it's all getting empty. And there's more racks and stuff in other. I got a couple of big rooms full of tanks, and slowly dismantling everything. Like I say, took a year and 3 months, and I wish I would have took another 2 or 3 months to finish up. But like I say, the visa showed up for Japan, and I had to rush through it. I had some friends come over. My family came over, like my parents and my brother. So they come over and helped to close up the place and went from there, right? So it was a lot, right? So this is the beginning, the road to get here. And then at my age, I was like, I don't know if I want to do another business and be involved that much. A lot of people, if people don't know, I'm 60, right? I'm 60. I'll have my birthday in August, and I'll be 61. So that's coming shortly. I don't really feel old. I'm not tired. I don't have boo-boos and stuff. I mean, maybe a few, but nothing. I still can play ball. I still do a lot of weights, So I'm okay. So that's the road to Japan. It started with dismantling the farm and trying to understand who I was and who I am and where am I going and things like that, right? So just a lot of a long process. It wasn't one of those things where you just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go to Japan and pack it. No, man, I just had to do this stuff and make the best of it with what I've got, right? So I got guys to pick up tanks, and then this guy came a couple of times. He was a bait store guy, and he was trying to expand his place a little bit. He's in the Panhandle, and so lived north of Florida. Anyways, and so a lot of guys picked up tanks. I had tanks everywhere. Those are leftovers. I ended up having to throw away these because they were just getting too old. And yeah, like I say, you just so much stuff to get rid of, so much stuff to clean up to move on from life, right? And it was okay. The place was good at one point. The place looked really good, right? We were raising fish, and you're doing all this kind of stuff, and there's a bunch of plants I ended up giving away. And there's so much stuff, and yeah, you just accumulate stuff, and stuff's growing, and you're selling stuff, but it's just the motivation wasn't there. I was good at it because I've done it for most of my life, that and basketball. But the thing is, time to do something else. This was too much work, and I just didn't. I felt like I was suffocating. Right, I needed to do something else, and you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, material things you can't take them with you when you go away, right? So my kids didn't want it. My kids didn't want the land. They didn't want anything like that. There's potential to do stuff, but it wasn't. wasn't, how do you say, the outlook doesn't look great, right? Because the cost of living is too high, cost of taxes is too high, labor is iffy at best, right? And so a lot of people, everybody has a story. I have my story. I'm willing to share it. People willing to listen, but this is the story, right? The story to Japan is not, oh, I'm going to go to Japan tomorrow, and no, man, it was years of thinking, like 3 years, maybe more, 4 years, and I had to make decisions, and we don't know how it's going to work out. It is a challenge, and it is what it is, and I'm doing what I can and do the best I can with what I can. I'm still not totally finished when it comes to the property in Florida, so that's still on me, right? And so I have to, still stay here, do my stuff. Property maybe will sell, maybe will not. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go back and take care of the stuff and whatever. But it is for sale, but market's so bad that it's not even worth selling, right? Nobody's interested, stuff like that. And like anything else, because the market's bad, people don't want to pay you the money for it. But that's all I have, right? That is all I have is the property. That's my retirement. I don't have 401k. I don't have very little social security. Everything went into taking care of the kids, take care of the farm. And so that's all I got. Right. So, yeah. So moving on. So there you go. That's the farm stuff. And uh, you got to see some dumpsters, property, greenhouse. So fish stuff. I mean, I got so much stuff here. Uh, yeah, the buildings and stuff. So yeah, so yeah, I get a bit of yeah. Trying to think what we got here. So yeah, I was doing cage stuff. This is on breeding stuff and put stuff in cages and work with catfish and but after a while, yeah, it did well. I mean, I was doing fun. I could produce a lot of fish, but motivation wasn't there anymore. I had a lot of green because the frogs came in because I have my sides were ripped off for a while. So I had frogs come in and then the duckweed set in because the frogs would spread it around. And yeah, duckweed, pain in the ass. There you have it. Fish were happy, but that was it. I'm like, okay, can't do this anymore. Do something else. You get an idea. I, all gone. It was just an empty greenhouse now with a gravel bottom, nothing else. Not even electricity, nothing. Like water. But, so going from there to here is still a transition. It's going to take me some time to get away because this is what I lived on, right? I lived on a farm, right? There's the house, the forest. I had deer. I had all kinds of stuff out there, and snakes and bugs and you name it, birds, and lots of bunnies and squirrels and all that kind of stuff. So countryside, and I'm here, being concrete world, man. That's why I like the countryside better than I like, stuff like that. Um, so there's a lot of good stuff there, right? And so yeah, yeah. This is after a hurricane, and so a lot of stuff was broken. I had to deal with it, and I just didn't feel. I got rid of some tanks. Well, a few days. This is like a week later. I just kind of got rid of a bunch of tanks. And so a lot of people, everybody one has a story, right? So this is my story. Most of the kids at school, they have their own story, right? And a lot of people, are surprised at what I did, right? At my age, they're like, what the hell are you doing at 60 doing something like that? Why not? I can do it, and I don't want regrets in life, right? I don't want regrets. So regrets is just one of those things that we all have regrets of things that we've done that we shouldn't have done or wish we'd have done. And now I'm got the freedom to do things that I want to do. Yeah, I don't have a lot. I don't have much money right now. I'm living on daily dime. I'm eating at home. Uh, and hopefully this will go and then I'll have some kind of income in the future. But right now, working in Japan is not here. I'm not here to make money, right? Its cost of living is low, but we'll see what happens in the future, right? Japan is interesting, has its ups and highs. Nowhere is perfect, right? Nowhere is perfect. And so right now, again, I repeat to myself that it's the time where I'm here. I'm still watching. I'm still, figuring things out. Like, so I use again the analogy from Julius Caesar. I came, I saw, and I conquered. I came, I'm here. I'm just at the come. I haven't seen anything yet, right? So Japan is different. Uh, I have skills, so hopefully the skills that have accumulated over the years will help me uh, create a path for a future here, and we'll see what happens, right? And I'll give myself this semester, and then I'll give another semester, and I have my first test in December to see if I can get to that JLPT level. First one, or maybe second one. We'll see how good I get, and then see if that helps the jobs and opportunities for me. If I can get me a job right away, I may not stay at school for 2 years. I may just do 1 year and go from there. If not, then I'll do another year and cross that bridge, right, and see where it goes. But like I say, one day at a time, right? One day at a time. And so it's good to see some new people. It's good to see people that have stories. I haven't really shared my story much. I did it online with you guys, but I'm not here to, feel sorry for myself or anything like that. I just decided something for myself and it's time to do something else. And farming was good. I loved it. I love the fish, but if I don't have to have a fish tank the rest of my life, I'm good. So we'll move on from there. So anyway, so let's get back out of here. It's enough of that. So basketball too, we did a lot of basketball training and stuff. And so yeah, so this is the Japan road, this is different parks we went to and things like that. So yeah, fun stuff. Students, went more students. So I'm the odd one out. So it's fun. Right. And then yeah, some friends and stuff, lots of friends from school and stuff like that. So yeah, more karaoke, crazy stuff. It's the way to to do stuff. Yeah, we're not doing it. So anyways, let's see what else is it. Yeah, I love pictures. I love to take pictures. I always want to take more pictures. This is all phone stuff, right? So it's all phone, right? So yeah. Oh, yeah, all it barely fits in here. Anyways, so lots of phone pictures. Yeah, I just play around trying to, yeah, just get inspired. If it's not, it's sceneries and stuff like that. Or yeah, so this is on this side here, we're in Osaka. On the other side is Sakai. So I live in Sakai, which is the other side. Look at the river there. And water flow changes drastically. It rains, it goes way up, and then it dries, it goes way down. It's funny. I've never seen rivers like that where it's just not consistent, right? Within a week, it could be like crazy. It's funny. And then it goes, it's like it's draining, and then there's nothing left, and then it's nice and bone dry, and then it comes on, then it goes back up. And so the mountains are small, right? They're not big, so there's not that much water coming out. It's funny. Anyways, yeah, just playing with pictures and stuff like that. Lots of bridges over every city. There's so many people here, right? So many people. So road, there you go, going down the road. Yeah, Japan. Just no different than any other city. Just another city. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go because I'm gonna get ready for school. So I wanted to share a little bit this morning, bioaquatic stuff and stuff like that. While I'm here, I'm still not sure why I'm here. I'm still just wanted to see a new challenge, right? And we'll see how it goes. We'll do it one day at a time. It's gonna get, you know, doing this stuff is hard, but at least that I don't have the burden of worrying about other stuff, right? That there was the fish or business or customer, the land, the house, all that stuff. So I still worry about stuff like that, but not as bad. Uh, so now it's kind of trying to figure out my path here. I don't know what it's going to be. I have no clue. I know I need to learn Japanese. That's a tool. Japanese is a tool for me. And then hopefully I can use my skills to get some kind of job in here that's decent. Nothing major. I'm not here to make money, but I'm here to make a living, and we'll see how it goes, right? So that's why I'm here and trying to share a little bit my journey as a older person. You're going to school with a bunch of kids. It is great. It is great. It's awesome. It's awesome. So you guys have a good day. Peace. We'll talk later. Oh.